Successful people all starts from being good enough. So, let go of perfection as we are all good enough to shine.
Hello everybody, how are you? Now I know this week is probably the SA1 exams for most of you. Perhaps some of you have finished most of it or have some more papers to go. I'd just like to take a few more minutes to explain a little bit of my experience while revising the schoolwork for my son who is in P5 this year. So I created a few cards here. I call this the red card, the yellow card, and the blue card in his revision. Now it's really not easy to coach my own son when it comes to studying because I do have emotions. I get angry, and especially when things become I have to repeat a few times, my emotions will go very high. So I've decided to use cards when I'm revising work with him, and so this is how I use the cards. The red card is fatal mistakes. Fatal mistakes refer to children when you probably would call it as a careless mistake. For example, Tom are eating the cake. Tom are eating the cake. That's grammatically wrong. The subject-verb agreement requires you to say Tom is eating the cake and not Tom are eating the cake. So grammar mistakes is a fatal mistake because children, if you recall, in one of the sessions on how to reduce grammar mistakes, we talk about subject-word agreement. And subject-word agreement talks about the verb has to agree with the subject, otherwise there's no agreement. So fatal mistakes, I don't like to call careless mistakes because it doesn't mean anything to me, right? Don't make fatal mistakes in exams. Please check your work. Please use your fingers, your eyes, move your eyes, use the eye assessing cues to check your work, okay? Please, fatal mistake is a red card, okay? No fatal mistakes, no careless mistakes in our exams. Now, next one, okay, the paper just flew off. The next one is a yellow card. All right, so children, when you're doing exam papers, it is very, very important that you read the question. All right, you have to read the question. If you don't read the question, how do you know what is the answer to give? And if you recall, I went through review in terms of what you will usually be tested in your exam paper. So you need to know before you go to the exam what are the things you'll be tested. Will you be tested for English paper? Will you be tested on grammar? Will you be tested on comprehension? For science, which topics will you be tested on? Because in science, they are especially looking for specific words, topics that you should be using in terms of answering the question. So it's very important to know what is the meaning of the question. What is the question really asking you? What topic is it asking you? Please read the question. And to help you to read the question, please use your finger to point at the words. Don't miss the words out, okay? You've got to read the question. Now, this is a yellow card here is because most people, most kids, when they do not do well in exams, it's really because they forgot to read the questions, okay? So please read the question, understand the meaning of question, read a question and understand like as if you are a police officer, like you're an investigator, like you're a detective, you're trying to solve a mystery. Read it like you need to solve a mystery, otherwise things will go messy. All right, so please understand what the question is asking for. And lastly, when you're checking your work as well, I'd like to introduce you this blue card which I created newly, which reads as what is the logic, and please find evidence to support your answer. Now, this makes sense in everything, okay? I'll give you an example. In comprehension, if you provide an answer in the comprehension question, can you please check whether you have evidence in the passage to support your choice of the answer? All right, so let's say, for example, you read the question in comprehension, you found a certain portion of the answer is related to the answer to this question. Please do a bit more, check the front and back, read a bit more, expanding from where your source of evidence is to understand whether you need to add more information to your answer or not. Okay, so please find evidence in your answer to convince yourself that your answer is correct. That's all I have for you now. And all the best in your exams, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Successful people all starts from being good enough. So, let go of perfection as we are all good enough to shine.